Welcome to the Vacation Races and Friends podcast, a podcast about events, travel, and the people who love both. Find more episodes at vacationraces.com. Welcome back to our Grand Circle Trailfest 2021 race guide. We are talking day number 1, Thursday, the Bryce Canyon Day at Grand Circle Trailfest. We have got Dane Craig and Anna Basso here with us. They are the race directors of this Grand Circle Trailfest. And we're going to talk all about this course and get you ready and get you excited for Bryce Canyon. The one thing I want to start out with, though, guys, if it's okay with you, is talking about our themes for each day. This is new this year. We've decided to add a theme to every single day of Trailfest. And the first day, of course, we're getting ready to go. Everybody's ready to go. And we're calling it Let's Rock and Roll Bryce Canyon. So the theme for Thursday, day number 1 at Trailfest, is going to be a classic rock theme. So we want to see your classic rock band shirts, any t-shirts, any accessories that you have. Everybody's got those vintage t-shirts out there. My daughter has like a Def Leppard shirt, and my husband just laughs because it's his favorite band from the 80s, and she got her shirt at Target. So anyway, classic rock apparel is what we want to see. And in the same vein as our Spark Challenges app, which you're going to use to do the Explorer Club for Bryce Canyon, we're going to give you a level up option. So every day you can level up if you want to, and you could dress as your favorite classic rock artist. You could take it to the next level, or just wear your favorite band t-shirt and you're good to go. These themes, again, are totally optional. It's just something fun. If you're not into themes, don't even worry about it. If you're into themes, go full bore on it. We are excited to have that. So we're going to rock and roll with Bryce Canyon. This is an amazing day. Dane, kick us off and tell us what is so cool about this Bryce Canyon course.
The Bryce Canyon course, I cannot stress this enough, will be harder than you think it will be. I don't even know how hard you think it will be, but I'm telling you right now, you're not thinking it's going to be hard enough. I say it every year and people don't believe me. And then afterwards they come up to me and they're like, that was a tough one. That was really hard. But why didn't you warn me? And I'm like, man.
Can we qualify it with it's probably going to be the hardest day of the 3? So
for sure it is.
So it will. So the silver lining is once you get through Bryce, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, the rest of it's not as bad.
I wouldn't even say the silver lining because it's amazing. It's incredibly beautiful. You're running through hoodoos that are just magnificent. Like if you've ever been to Disneyland, Thunder Mountain Railroad, like the ride is inspired based off of whatever the trails that they're going to be running on. They're going to run on Thunder Mountain, and Red Canyon and Golden Wall. And they're just running past these incredibly beautiful rocks and rich red hoodoos. And it's just breathtaking. It's beautiful. There's some elevation. It's very rough terrain. There's some sections that are climbing up and it's hard to run up them. And then you peek out and you think, oh, great, now I can drop down. But now you're running down and it's so steep, it's a little hard to run. So you really kind of got to pay attention to your terrain, your elevation, your ups and your downs, and watch your footing and be careful. So it is our hardest day. It's also probably arguably our prettiest day. So it's just a great day. But it's also just a very hard day.
It is a hard day. And I think a lot of it's hard because of the elevation. Anna, will you kind of speak to that as far as how high this course is above sea level?
Yeah, you're starting at just under 8,000 feet. I think the starting elevation for the course is 7,900. So
that's
I actually ran this in 2019, this exact course, and I was breathing really hard. I would say the first 20 steps, and I wasn't not in shape, but I wasn't in my peak shape, we'll say. So maybe that I can attribute to that, but I was breathing heavily quickly. So prepare yourself for that, stay hydrated and start hydrated and, slow down a little bit more than you need to. Realize that you're probably going to be walking up most of the hills and still enjoy it though, because it's a beautiful course. I can speak for experience. This is an amazing course.
Being at elevation, it is it's probably our coldest morning.
Yes.
So runners will want to layer up in the morning, come, with coats or whatever you need to be warm, and then you'll check whatever you don't want to run with. in your gear check, and then we'll have that waiting for you at the finish. But even then, wear some layers, some light running gloves, or maybe even a running cap, like just keep those ears and fingers warm, because it is colder. Once that sun comes up, it tends to heat up quickly. Even if the temperature in the air stays cool, the sun really heats your body, and you get over that cold quickly, I think. But it is our coldest morning, so layer up.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And of course, Dane, like you said, we have gear check available. And I mean, at this start line, there's been times when I have really been bundled up at this start line. And by the end of the day, I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. So definitely wear layers. It's not something you want to commit to really heavy layers, because at that elevation, if it's nice and sunny, the sun is quite strong. And so it does warm you up super fast. And by the end of the day, it can be quite nice. We're expecting to have, nice weather, nice dry weather. It would be great. Would you guys recommend hiking poles, or would you recommend trail shoes? Like, what's your recommendations on this one?
I'd recommend trail shoes for this one. It's not terribly technical as far as rocks and roots. I mean, there are some rocks and roots on the trail, but it's not constant. The tricky part about this trail, as Dane mentioned, especially when you're on the descent and going downhill, there's like a fine layer of gravel, small gravel, on top of this hard packed dirt. So it can get a little slippy. So a little bit goes a long way when it comes to trail shoes and grip. If you don't have trail shoes and you don't plan to bring them, say you don't own them, don't feel the pressure to go out and buy them. But if you do have them, plan to pack them with you, and this would be a good one to have them on.
I don't know, because the mileage isn't too far. I don't know how crucial. I mean, trekking poles come in real handy once you've put in a lot of miles and your legs are getting really tired. But of the 3 days, if there was going to be one day that I would say if you wanted to use trekking poles, day one, Bryce Canyon would be a day that they could come in handy. With all the climbing up and the descents, then trekking poles could come in handy. By no means necessary, but if that's something that you're comfortable with, or assist you on other long runs, then they could come in handy on this day.
Yeah, that's a really good point. What about aid stations out there? What do we have, Dane, for aid stations on this course?
Yeah, aid stations, and while we're at it, there's a few things that are going to be the same for each day of running. So I'll talk about a couple of those too. We'll have one aid station each course. So usually about halfway through the course, we'll have one aid station. It's going to be really well stocked. But that means you're putting in a lot of miles before you get there. So make sure you're running with a hydration pack or a belt or some handheld water bottles. You got to be responsible for your hydration out there. The aid stations will be really well stocked. We'll have water. We'll have Gnarly Electrolyte Drink, which is our electrolyte drink of choice. It's delicious. We'll have Honey Stinger energy gel packets, and then we're also going to have some snack foods. We kind of treat our aid station at Trailfest the same way we do our ultra aid stations. It's going to be way more stocked than is appropriate.
You don't need all the food that's going to be at the aid
station. You will
not
need everything. We'll have like little peanut butter and jelly slice sandwiches, Nutella tortilla wraps. We'll have some sweet and salty snacks, some fresh cut up fruit. The tendency for a lot of runners, because it's an early start, is they get to that aid station and they're like, oh, breakfast. And they'll just sit down and just graze for a while. You're welcome to do that, but really encourage you to just get back on course and keep making your way to the finish. But it's all there for whatever you do have a craving for.
Yeah, and the pictures that you're going to take on this course are absolutely beautiful. They really are. These are our best pictures. People love. There's some iconic hoodoos that people really love to take photos with. So make sure you've got your cameras out there. It's going to be awesome. And you'll get your first piece of your Grand Circle Trailfest medal when you get to the finish line. And at the finish line, we'll have some food and things like that as well for you to take with you, whether you're headed into the park or whether you're taking a shuttle and things like that. So it's going to be great. Refer to your race guide. And don't forget, on Wednesday night, we will do a course preview night where we'll go over all of this and you can ask some questions and things like that at the festival.
For over 40 years, Nathan has provided best-in-class running essentials designed to help runners enhance and improve their performance mile after mile and year after year. From our hydration vests and handhelds to our safety gear and apparel, Nathan products deliver on what matters most to you: intuitive design, comfort, quality, and smart storage. Check us out at nathansports.com or follow at nathansportsinc on Instagram.
let's back up and talk about how we actually get to Bryce Canyon and how that process is going to work. Of course, in the morning, and you're going to get used to this every single morning at Trailfest, is we have a grab and go breakfast that's going to start in our North Pavilion. It's going to have some little options like, what do we have? We have some like oatmeals. We had some hot chocolate and instant coffee. What other things do we have, Dane?
You'll have some yogurt, fruit drinks, some bagels, like some peanut butter packets, bananas. So kind of just a little bit step above continental breakfast. Lots of little grab and go items, some hard boiled eggs, some things like that. So everybody's morning routine is a little different, but we'll have some different fruits and proteins and some simple carbohydrates.
Yeah, so that's going to start at 5 a.m. And then we have two different options for you to get to Bryce Canyon. So one of which is to drive your own private vehicle, and the other is to take a shuttle. Anna, will you kind of talk through, if you're going to drive yourself, what that process looks like, how long it takes to get there, and what the parking situation is?
So if you're driving yourself, you're going to want to leave shortly after or about the same time as the shuttle leaving from HQ anyways. I mean, the time it takes for a shuttle to get there versus you getting there is roughly the same. So what you're going to do is everybody who's driving themselves, they're going to leave at about 5:45. Anybody who is driving themselves, it's going to be kind of this long caravan. Everybody who's out on the road that time of day, they're probably going to be involved with Trailfest. If not, there are some farmers saying, what in the heck is going on at this hour in the day?
Or
but
they're deer,
for the most part,
or it's a deer. Like it's either...
Or the deer. They're going to stare at you saying, why are you up right
Why are
now?
you up? This is my time.
Yeah. So everybody's going to get in the car at the same time. We're going to kind of announce that at breakfast. You know, we'll say last call for those riding the shuttle. And then we'll also say, if you're driving yourself, it's a good time to get loaded and get going. So you're going to head out from Kanab, and in your race guide, there are detailed instructions on how to get to every race. There is turn-by-turn instructions, as well as a Google pin if you need to just get it in your phone and get going. We do recommend putting those directions in your phone every day prior to leaving in case you're in and out of service, so you have the exact directions on how to get there. A lot of these locations are a little remote, so having service to start with will get you there regardless. So leaving from HQ at about 5:45, 5 o'clock, you will be at the parking area no later than 7. So it's a less than 2-hour drive. So if you're leaving at about 5:45, closer to 6, it takes about an hour and 15 minutes to get there. Anybody who drives, you're going to arrive at this central parking location in the town of Bryce. And then we're going to have a shuttle there, which is complimentary at this point, that's taking you from your parking area to the actual start line. So for the sake of ease, I'll call the Kanab shuttle one thing where people have a shuttle pass and it's reserved, which takes them straight to the start line. Whereas a race shuttle will take you from a parking lot to the start line, which is complimentary. That's where the majority of the runners are going to be shuttling from.
There's those two shuttles. If you're on the Kanab shuttle, you have a wristband. That's your meal ticket and your shuttle wristband. So just remember that and make sure you have those on. So, okay, we get up there, we get parked, we get shuttled over to the start line. Dane, how's the start line going to work? What's kind of the process of getting everybody started?
Yeah, so each morning we're going to have what's called a rolling start. So we have an official start time for each race. For Bryce Canyon, it's going to be at 7:30 a.m. So we have a 7:30 a.m. start line. So if you're one of our fast guys, one of our competitive runners, you're going to want to be on one of those early shuttles. Make sure you park earlier, or you're riding a Kanab shuttle so that you can be at that 7:30 start. For everyone else, your time is based off of when you cross the start timing mats and when you cross the finish timing mats. So your bib has a chip on it, and that's your official race time. So so it's going to just be kind of a rolling start. So if you're there right at 7:30, but you still need to, stretch it out a little bit or take care of some pre-race business, like you got a few minutes. There's no rush. If you're parking and you're waiting for a shuttle, and you don't get on a shuttle and get to the start line until 7:45, that's okay. You can start as soon as you get there. So we'll leave that start line open, and it's kind of as you're ready, go ahead and start. Rolling start. And so kind of takes the pressure off of race morning. It's not this big mass start, and it also helps us avoid congestion on the trails.
And at the start line, are we going to have any amenities? We're going to have gear check available, but We've got some, some
We will
other
have
things.
gear check. We'll also have, I mean, most everybody will have come from Kanab and had breakfast or whatever, but we'll have porta potties at the start line. We'll also have, bananas, some hot chocolate, and some instant coffee there as well. And like you said, we'll have gear check. So Bryce, you're going to want to bundle up. It could be cooler that morning, and then you'll just shed whatever layers you don't want to run in, put it in your gear check bag, and we'll have that wait for you at the finish line.
Okay, so really easy start. This is our longest drive. Day one is our longest drive to get over there.
Day one and day three are both
I guess you're right. Yeah, they're about the
Yeah.
same. Yeah, so it's about the same. So a little bit of a drive, but it's a beautiful drive. And once you get done and you get to the finish line, you're all settled. If you've parked, we'll have a shuttle back to your parking area where you were on that race shuttle. If you are on the shuttle from Kanab, we'll have those shuttles available that will take you back to Kanab. Just make sure you're getting on the correct shuttles. Just communicate with your drivers on that. And Bryce Canyon is a great place to visit, right? I mean, we definitely encourage you to go into Bryce Canyon. We're going to be running in the Red Canyon area, and that is just outside of some national forests. That's just outside of Bryce Canyon, the actual national park. But we really encourage you to get in there. Anna, if you had one suggestion for people who have never been to Bryce Canyon, I know she's like, oh, don't ask me this. What would it be? One suggestion. They've just done, 13 miles on Thunder Mountain. What should they go see in the national park?
Queen's Loop is cool.
It is cool.
You might be a little tired, but it's worth it because you're like, I can hike down that. I've already hiked down something much worse already today. And actually, it's going to be good to keep your legs loose. Like, the truth is, if you start to stiffen up, the cool thing about Bryce Canyon is you can actually see a lot from your vehicle, in the sense of you're going along this road and there's plenty of pullouts to see unique things. There's just a new window to see something unique every stop. But do take advantage of some of those offshoot trails and things to hike down into, because it's more fun when you're in the hoodoos versus just looking at the hoodoos from higher above. And
Queen's Garden is where you're going to see the iconic Thor's hammer. That is something that is on most of the Bryce Canyon pictures that you see. It's generally of Thor's hammer. And so that is just right there, like literally just below the rim to go and see. All right, Dane, how about you? What would you suggest that they go and do?
I think Queen's Garden to get out for a stroll and stretch the legs. But like you said, there's Sunset Point and then there's Sunrise Point, and they're kind of the two opposite ends of the big canyon, and they're both very impressive viewpoints that I think are worth getting out and seeing.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to maybe go cool the legs off a little bit, one that I would recommend, if you drive down towards the town of Tropic, you will go to Mossy Cave, and there's a great waterfall down there, and you can kind of sit your legs in the water. It's a fairly flat hike. You're kind of below the amphitheater. You don't have as many spectacular views of the amphitheater, but it is a really fun hike. If you have kids, that's a really fun place to go to. And there's a waterfall in there, and you can kind of sit in the nice cool water that flows through that area. So that's another fun one that not everybody thinks about. They have added some parking to Mossy Cave, so it's a little bit easier to get to. But Dane, if they want suggestions to do things, we have our Spark Challenges app.
We do. Yeah. The Spark Challenges app, Colleen, you mentioned in the first episode of this series of podcasts, is something that we created for our races so that runners who come and participate in the races have it as a resource or a guide or kind of an adventure challenge. So we include lots of different activities, kind of all of our team's favorite activities, favorite hikes, favorite viewpoints, favorite places to eat, educational things, historical things in the area. And so it's just this big, almost like a scavenger hunt of adventures in and around Bryce Canyon. So depending on how much time people have or how much they want to spend or how many miles they're feeling like putting in after running 13 miles, then they can kind of go through that list and compile and make their own super day itinerary.
So when they go on the Spark Challenges app, do they look for Trailfest, or are they looking specifically for Bryce Canyon Explorer?
They're going to look for Bryce Canyon. So it's going to be the Bryce Canyon Explorer Club Challenge is what it's going to be called. And there'll also be one for Zion and also one for Horseshoe Bend, which will be called Lake Powell, but it's the same area. And so there's 3 unique challenges. And actually, if they complete each activity in the challenge has a point value assigned to it. And if they complete enough of those activities, you check them off in the app and it keeps a running tally of your score. And if you hit the minimum threshold of points, then we'll send you a little Wood Explorer Club badge for Bryce Canyon. So there's one for Bryce Canyon, one for Zion, and one for Lake Powell.
Awesome. Really, really fun. So some great suggestions. And of course, if you have any questions when you're there, just grab one of our staff members. A lot of us are from this area of Southern Utah, and we have some favorite places. And so we'd share some of those with you as well. One thing that I also want to talk about that is kind of an added experience for you when you're running is our RaceJoy tracking app. If you have some spectators who are going to want to be tracking you or even tracking you from afar, they might not even be close to you, they can use RaceJoy. It's an app that you download. You turn it on and start it when you start your race, when you go over the starting mat, and it will track your location as you make your way to the finish line. But what's great about this app is we've included some really fun messaging about the area, about the trail that you're on, some history about Bryce Canyon or Zion or Horseshoe Bend. And we've compiled that all. So about every mile, you'll get a little 30-second fun factoid that you can think about and to give you kind of this tour of this beautiful area. So it's really fun. I know when we used this for our Bryce Ultra, it was received really, really well. People really enjoyed it. So we encourage you to use the RaceJoy app out there, not only just because you can hear some fun messaging, but also just so your spectators can cheer you on from afar and they can see your progress. So yeah, it's going to be a great day. Nerding out on data, perfecting the optimal training and nutrition plan, aiming for progression in PRs. Sound like you? Well, Gnarly Nutrition can relate. Featuring a full line of honest sports nutrition products, Gnarly provides the best nutrition possible for all types of mountain athletes. Because they offer great tasting and reputable products, Vacation Races trust Gnarly to be the on-course hydration sponsor. With the low-calorie, high-electrolyte Gnarly Hydrate for shorter races and the calorie, electrolyte, and amino acid-filled Gnarly Fuel 2.0 for longer races. Gnarly is here, taking the bonking out of your big day. Use code VACATION15 during checkout at GoGnarly.com for 15% off. Once we get you out of Bryce Canyon, we're going to get you back to Festival HQ back there in Kanab. And we have a night full of just great entertainment. We're going to have some games and some fun. We're also going to have a great dinner. It's going to be catered by Houston's. Dinner for that night on Thursday is going to be spaghetti with sauce and Italian sausage, garlic bread. Oh, that sounds really good. We do have a vegetarian option that night, which is a black bean burger. That's going to be diced up so that you can put that into the pasta as well. So we will have that catered dinner at night, and the dinner will start. Dinner always opens at 5 o'clock, 5:30 to 6:30. We do a lot of games and giveaways. If you dressed up with our theme, you just might get a prize, something like that. We'll have some fun trivia games as well. So look forward to that between 5:30 and 6:30. But we have some other things that we're going to do each and every night as well. So Dane, will you talk through how awards are going to work and every night that we do those when we're back at Kanab?
Yeah, so before we get into awards, our Wander Project will, with our nonprofit partners, will be kind of given a little spiel. So it'll be unique each night, but Wednesday night's going to be Grand Staircase Escalante. And then that'll kind of roll us into our awards for that day. So at 6:30, we'll do awards. We're going to award our top 3 male and female runners. And so they'll be awarded. Right after awards, we'll kind of launch into our course overview or course preview for the next day. So we'll talk about Zion logistics, some of the nitty gritty about, buses, parking, the course, the terrain, things like that. After we do that, and Colleen will be intermixing it with some games and some challenges and some giveaways and things like that. Then at 7:45, we've got Stellar Observatory, who are just going to come out. They're a local group that's going to come out with just a bunch of telescopes, and they're going to set those up for us so everyone can kind of go around and take turns looking at features of the night sky.
This is one of my favorite things when they bring those telescopes. Like we saw Saturn one year, like you could see all the rings of Saturn, and it is so cool, the stuff that you can see. And these guys will answer all your questions. It is really a super fun night. What's fueling your race? Is nature powering your run? Nature's Sunshine puts the power of nature into your hands with world-class herbs and supplements, protein powders, and active nutrition formulas designed to keep you healthy for the long haul. With nearly 50 years of expertise and an impeccable reputation for excellence in the natural health industry, we're proud to partner with Vacation Races to offer you 15% off your order. Just use promo code NSPVR at checkout. That's NSPVR. Live better, climb higher, dream bigger, dig deeper, and power your game with the power of nature at naturesunshine.com. Okay, so dinner will end every night about 8 o'clock. What time does Beer Garden open, Anna?
The beer garden opens at 5, same time as dinner every night, and last call will be at 9 p.m.
Okay, awesome. So that gets us through day number 1, Grand Circle Trailfest. Of course, we'll have our merchandise and our vendors set up. We'll have elevated legs there. We'll have the medical tent. We've got a little yoga that's going to happen in the afternoons. We've got some live music. I think Josh Warburton's going to be with us that night. So there's going to be some things going on depending on when you get back to the festival that afternoon and evening. But some really fun things will be going on, and we'll keep you entertained and get you ready for our day number 2, which is going to be Zion. Is there anything else we need to add, guys, to our Bryce Canyon day 1?
I did have a quick chuckle when Dane was saying it'll take your breath away. It's seriously figuratively and literally.
Okay,
you're
I like that.
Be amazed with it, but you're also going to be breathing hard. So just be prepared to visually see some cool stuff, but also work hard for that medal.
Day 1, it'll take your breath away. I like it. I like it. On many,
You call it the Top Gun Day.
The Top Gun Day. We'll make sure that's going to be our classic rock day. So we'll make sure to put a little Top Gun soundtrack on there for you as well. So don't forget, we do have that classic rock theme for day number 1, and we're on the lookout for our trail heroes. Each and every day, you're going to meet people who are extra kind, who are going above and beyond. We want you to nominate your favorite trail heroes from each day. You can do that on our Trailfest Instagram. You can just send us a message through Instagram on our Trailfest page, and we want to know those trail heroes. The best thing you can do is get their name or their bib number. If maybe you just see them out on the trail doing something great, maybe they picked up a bunch of garbage, or maybe they stopped to help somebody, or they lent somebody some nutrition or some salt pills or something like that. Look for those trail heroes doing great things and make sure to nominate them again on our Instagram, our Trailfest page, and we will recognize them hopefully each and every night. If you guys nominate enough of our trail heroes, we'll have somebody to do each and every night. So all right, that wraps up day number 1. Join us for our next episode where we're going to be talking Grand Circle Trailfest day number 2, and it's Zion. You've been listening to the Vacation Races and Friends podcast. We'd love your feedback. Email podcast@vacationraces.com with comments, concerns, or stories you'd love to share. Make sure to watch for more episodes coming soon to vacationraces.com. This episode was produced by Colleen Rue in the Festival Sound Studio. For information about music licensing, contact Dane at vacationraces.com.